cactus and succulent growers, it's Lynn. And in today's video, I'm going to be repotting my amazing wacky spined Astrophytum Capricorne crassispinum. Now, before I go any further, I just want to wish my wonderful friend and subscriber, Stephanie Marina, a very happy 50th birthday today. So Stephanie, if you're watching this video, happy 50th birthday to you. And guys, do wish Stephanie a very happy birthday in the comments down below. And Stephanie's a very, very good subscriber and very supportive. So happy 50th, Stephanie. So here we go. Now, this Astrophytum is one that I've had for quite a few years, and I actually got it from my late friend Bill here at the Cactus Society in Belfast. It's one that Bill had grown himself for a long time. And we have quite a lot of Astrophytum cacti in our collection, many different types. Some of them coming into bud and bloom at the moment. So I'm going to be sharing lots of lovely blooming videos on them in the coming weeks. But as you can see, this one here is very top heavy. And it is getting bigger and bigger. Lots of new growth, as you can see at the top here. And it is very overhanging. And it goes this gorgeous sort of deep plummy colour in lots of sunshine. This I've had in the big green polytunnel, and it gets plenty of sun. We've had some lovely sort of warm sunny weather the past while, and it's really brought out the colour. But it is desperate. As soon as I water it, it literally just dries out. It's a tiny bit damp, but it's going to be better for me to repot while it's like that, because it tends to dry like cake if I don't have it a little bit moist. So I've had to give it a bit of water to moisten it before I take it out. And although this looks like it's very sharp, I can assure you these spines are very papery. I mean, the spines are absolutely awesome. Lovely sort of silvery spines, but they're very soft. So it's one that doesn't bite, even though it looks like it does. And that's why I'm not going to be using any gloves or any cardboard or anything like that to protect my hands in this video. If this was very sharp and they weren't soft, I'd always recommend when it comes to repotting cacti that you do protect your hands, either with some sheets of newspaper rolled around or very good gloves. But I don't need to worry, as I mentioned, because this is soft and I'm very used to handling cacti. Now, what I always recommend when I say about repotting is always go up to the next size up. Don't go up into too big of a pot. For example, I wouldn't pot this one up and go up to a pot this size, for example, because if there's too much soil around the root system, even if you are using cactus soil, that if it doesn't dry out quickly, then it can cause root rot. So I always recommend going up the next size up. In this case, I've chose this little black pot here, which is just about an inch or so, both at the bottom and at the top wider. Now, the cactus soil I like to use is a well-draining cactus soil, and everyone has their own personal mixes for potting up their cacti. The most important thing is that it's well-draining, so when you water your cactus, water can flow freely out, and also that it can dry out quickly in between waterings. If you use normal sort of houseplant soil, then it can stay too damp, and that's the worst thing for cactus roots, especially Astrophytum, because some Astrophytums can be a bit rot prone. So it's very important to use a very gritty, well draining cactus soil. In this case, I've used 3 equal parts of a loam based soil, LOAM. In this case, I've used John Innes number 2, mixed with pumice and grit, and also horticultural sand. So about 3 equal parts, 1 part John Innes, 1 part of 50-50 of pumice and grit, and 1 part sand. And I've given it a really good mix around, as you can see here. So this soil is very well draining, but use whatever mix works well for you and your plants. And if you want to know how to make a basic cactus and succulent well draining soil that I like to use, then links up above to a video I've made on how to make cactus and succulent soil in 3 easy steps, and I'll also put the video down below in the video description. So here we go, let's get repotting. Now I'll put a little bit of soil at the bottom there, and what you want to do is very with these plastic pots, I just lift this up a bit, give them a squeeze, and that's, say, this is, I've also sort of given it a bit of a squeeze beforehand as well, but you want to make sure it comes out loose, and turn it onto the side. Just show you here. If this was very root bound, that all the roots were wrapped around, I'd loosen it up. But I'm just going to very carefully loosen up this bottom of this root ball, because if I go too heavy on removing the soil here, it's going to be a bit could cause root rot. So I have to be careful when I'm repotting. But this one obviously is desperate because it's so top heavy, but it doesn't really have a big root system, as you can see there, and because of that I'm going to have to be very careful when it comes to the watering. I'm going to pot this up, leave it, when I've potted it up, leave it unwatered probably for about 3 weeks. I'm going to carefully place that in there, maybe a little bit more soil in the bottom. That's the thing a lot with cacti, another reason why not to put too big in too big of pots, because they don't, a lot of cacti don't have very deep root systems, and I'm not going to disturb them roots because, as you can see, it's very fragile. I don't want to cause any problems here. I'm going to very carefully place it in there. Look much better in its new pot. And as I always loosen up the roots if they're very matted and root bound, but I'm not going to disturb that because it looks way too just a little bit sensitive. I think if I was to loosen up them roots, a lot of the roots could come away. But the plant itself is very healthy, so potting it up in this dry soil, I'm going to put it back into the polytunnel after with the other astrophytums, and then I'm going to keep it dry, possibly for about a month, I think, because it's a nice fat cactus. It's very plump, it's got loads of new growth on it, so it's not going to shrivel. But I'm going to, until it's repaired itself with the roots, it's got a very shallow root system. And this is going to be much better as well, to give this more space to grow around. And I've made a video already on how to repot a cactus, and I show you 2 examples in that video. One sort of globular, large, spiny one, and also one serious cactus in that video. So do check it out if you want to know a little bit more on how to repot a cactus. And I've made numerous repotting videos as well on this channel. So here we go. And the reason why I often mention in my videos why I don't water cacti after I've repotted them, even in the middle of summer, and the reason for that is because it's inevitable when you do repot, no matter how careful you are, that you do the root system does get disturbed. As you can see there, there was a lot of soil left in, so a lot of the root, it's got a very shallow root system, but it's so top heavy I've had to repot it. I have to, if I was to go ahead now and just water this, the shallow root system that needs to repair itself from the repotting could rot, even when a plant is in active growth. So this, when I do start to water this, probably in about 3 weeks, I'm probably just going to very lightly water it, just to introduce a bit of water back into the soil so the new roots can grow. And the best time to repot a cactus is ideally in the spring and summertime, but you can also repot in the winter as well if you're potting them up in, say, in dry soil, and you're keeping them dry until the spring. But personally myself, I always like to sort of do it in the spring or summer, or very late winter when you're just before the spring arrives, when they're sort of coming out of their winter dormancy then. But this time of year in summer, it's pretty much okay. And then tap around. So it's a beautiful astrophytum. And the reason why I'm giving it a tap is so that the soil falls all down the sides. And then here I've got one of these little dabbers as well, so I use that to push down. Woohoo! That's it all done now. And now the little label. Astrophytum Capricorne crassispinum. Put that in there. Lovely. And isn't it just awesome, guys? I just love the amazing wacky spines on this beautiful Astrophytum. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as I mentioned, do wish Stephanie a very happy 50th birthday today, and wish a happy birthday in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, do leave a comment in the video description below, even if it's a heart or smiley face, because every comment really helps the algorithm and helps my channel to get noticed on YouTube. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And for more growing tips as well, do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered day. Thank you for repotting me.